Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We have a wild one to get into today. Some very strange things happening on Wall Street. If you look at what's going on in the markets compared to what we seen on Friday, completely different situations. So I want to give you guys the latest developments in this Israel conflict. I know a lot of people are sick of hearing about this. This Israel war could be something that could cause the markets to fall 20, 30, 40% if it were to escalate and really get to that worst case scenario. So I think that's important. And I think you guys should be up to date with everything that's going on with that particular situation if you are an investor in the markets or you're just a trader. Because if you're just a trader, you can make a lot of money trading that downside if and when it does come. So we have a lot to get into in a very short amount of time. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section, guys. So AMC stock, first things first, continuing its downside move. Down today at the time of recording this video about 3.57%. Not the prettiest move that you're seeing out there, okay? Now, AMC is still above $9 per share. That is good news. That is what you want to see at the bare minimum. You don't want to see a fall back under $9 per share. It looks like that's probably going to happen, though. We'll see. It looks like you're finding some support on this downtrending line of support. This is a line of support that really goes as far back as, you know, January of 2022, so almost 2 years now. And you broke above it recently. You were above it for about, you know, I mean, technically now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days. It looks like you're finding a lot of support at this level today. Even on the downside wick of this candle, you've seen a lot of that support on that wick. So that currently sits at, go ahead and see. It's really hard to tell because you are just so close to it right now. It's around $9 even per share. It's really hard to even see exactly where it is. About $9.10 per share, $9.05 per share, in that range. You definitely want to see a close above that. And you want to see AMC stock really stop out this drop. Down 3%, not terrible. Hopefully the next couple of days are good days for AMC, for the markets. Hopefully things start to look a little bit better in the geopolitical landscape, although it's not looking likely that it will. So what are your major developments with this conflict as of right now? So I think that's important, and we'll get into it here right now. And let me just tell you right now, it's not great. Iran accuses the U.S. of military involvement in Israel-Hamas war. Iran has made a couple of threats over this weekend, like there could be, you know, far-reaching ricocheting consequences. That probably is a direct threat to oil, as I have pointed out before. This is a picture of the oil tankers. Most of them go through Iran and Saudi Arabia water space. They could cut that off at least just a little bit, and you would see a dramatic rise in energy. That would single-handedly push the U.S. economy into a recession. So maybe that's what they mean. Again, hard to know exactly, you know, what they mean. But they did say even yesterday that if Israel does not stop their genocide, their war crimes, whatever, you know, verbiage they said, immediately, then they could get involved in this conflict as early as tomorrow, which is now today. So we definitely want to be watching this situation. It's definitely a developing situation. It looks like at any time now, the actual invasion could begin. And even tensions to the north side of Israel are ratcheting higher as well. It says Israel orders evacuation of 28 villages near Lebanese border in northern Israel. That's a lot of villages to evacuate. Okay, and this would be in preparation for any attack from Hezbollah. It says, quote, the implementation of the plan was approved by Minister of Defense Gallant, a joint statement by Israel's Ministry of Defense and the Israel Defense Forces says a short while ago, the Northern Command updated the heads of local authorities on the decision. The plan will be implemented by the heads of the local municipalities, the Ministry of Interior, and the National Emergency Management Authority of the Ministry of Defense. The 28 communities listed are all of these guys. So a lot of them. Right. It says news of the evacuation comes amid an exchange of fire on the border between Israel and members of the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. On Sunday, Israeli jets struck Hezbollah military targets in Lebanon in response to 9 rockets being fired from Lebanon into Israeli territory earlier in the day, the IDF said. So looks like they're already exchanging, missiles, bullets here. Not exactly something you like to see. Okay. Just not great. Okay. So we'll see what happens here. We don't know. Who knows? Hopefully this dies down. But it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better. And when it does get worse, yeah, that's when the markets probably start to react to the situation. If Iran were to get involved, that's when your kind of worst case scenario could open up, and that would be the restriction of energy, restriction of oil, as far as your worst case scenario financially speaking. So those are some of the big updates. As of right now, it is nighttime over in the Middle East, so probably you're not going to see an operation start at night, so probably early morning. So every night essentially is when early morning is over there, like midnight, 1-2 o'clock in the morning is their early morning. That's when you kind of want to be watching, to see if anything does escalate, if we ultimately do get that bad news. And that's when the markets again will react to it. Now, what you're actually seeing today is strange. So on Friday, you've seen bonds get bought and you've seen gold get bought. These were safety trades, safety moves, right? Hedge funds, institutions, market makers, governments, whoever they are, they wanted to own gold and they wanted to own bonds. What you're seeing today is a slight sell-off in gold, not as extreme as bonds, only down 0.38% here on the day. Friday's 3.21% up move on gold was the highest up move you have seen in almost 4 years, going all the way back to the low during the Rona situation. So it's been a long, long time since you have seen that, big of a move in gold. Back here, you did see a 3% day. This was on November 10th, kind of when the markets were falling and then recovering. But still, Friday was the highest up day, largest up day for gold since March 23rd and March 24th of 2020. So almost 4 years. That is a long time ago. Okay, so that was not exactly great. Now, what you're seeing with the bonds today, TLT is down 1.88%. Investors are back selling the bonds. So not as much as that risk, that risk off trade. Investors are selling the bonds. They're not looking at safety all too much today. What this is doing to the 30-year Treasury is it's causing it to move up 10 basis points. The 10-year Treasury is up about 9 basis points. So you're getting the 30-year, 10-year Treasury, basically the whole long end of the curve, the 20-year Treasury, that is rising almost 10 basis points apiece across the whole curve. Well, usually what we've seen in the markets is that has been negative, right? It's usually when the rates have been going higher, stocks have been going lower. The Nasdaq's up about 1% right now. So this could obviously give it back by the end of the day. Anything is possible. But right now, it's a weird kind of trend that is going on in the markets. On one hand, investors are selling the bonds when there's no news of this Israel, situation getting worse. And when there is news that it's getting worse, investors are buying the bonds. And there's no real correlation, it looks like right now, of, yields being higher, stocks being lower, yields being lower, stocks being higher. That correlation is just not happening today. So we really need to see, what wave the markets want to ride. Do they want to ride the safety trade, or do they want to ride the higher bond yields to sell off stocks? We just have zero clarity as of right now. Now, with AMC stock, like we reported in the video last night, we did get some breaking news that the Taylor Swift film is now the highest grossing concert film ever put out in theaters. Now, again, there's not too many concert films that have went to theaters, so it's not a super hard bar to beat, but it did do about $100 million over this weekend, so better than even some people were expecting. This, again, is not having a single ounce of positive effect on AMC stock today, which is not exactly great, but again, it could be worse. AMC stock could be down, something similar to what we've seen on Friday. On Friday was the first day this movie did go to theaters, and you were down 13.5%. This recent down move in AMC could have something to do with a lot of short positions being taken out on AMC, as we have went over a couple times before. The new US SEC rules are going to shine a light on short selling. Shorts are basically going to be exposed. Who's short, how long they've been short, what collateral they're using, if there's any set dates here, who's, the one, facilitating the trade. All of that information will become public information. So this could be a last-ditch effort from hedge funds and institutions to get some of their short positions out there before they do get exposed. It's a little uncertain whether existing short positions will have to report all of this data, or just new incoming short positions will have to report this data. Once we get new information, we will definitely let you know. But this has passed with a 3-2 vote and another separate 3-2 vote. So it does say the rules will be effective 60 days after being published in the federal government's register. So it's probably going to be like 3 months or so before we get any of this data, but that'll be pretty interesting to see. Is Morgan Stanley facilitating short positions for Tiger Capital or whoever else? We'll just see who is behind it. Or is it just one person? Is it just JP Morgan or a Bank of America that is doing all of the lending, for these short positions? We'll see. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So there is that. Now, as far as the Stocko tracker data, like I have said many times, the calls are now dominating the option chain. This is a big reason why I do think a multi 100% rally is inevitable for AMC at this point, at least in the short term. We don't exactly know when, obviously, the MOAS is going to happen, or when this short squeeze could take, AMC into the hundreds of dollars. But my multi 100% rally, I'm expecting to 20, 30, 40, $50 per share. Question is, do shorts actually cover at that point? And that's just something I can't tell you. I wish I could, and I wish I knew with certainty. I want to say yes, but you just never ultimately know. So keep that in mind. Now, this week for the option activity, you do have 28,221 calls. Out the money calls at 148,156. In the money puts at 22,043. Out the money puts at 93,294. Basically, all of the expirations you're looking at have a lot of call activity relative to put activity. This should give AMC quite a bit of that upside wind at its back, or that tailwind, if you will, at its back. If you look at the put to call ratio has fallen a lot. It's sitting at 0.76. I've reported this many times. It's almost ear bleeding at this point. But you are down to levels that you have been at, more normal levels, that you can actually get those big rallies. During this period where the put to call ratio was over 1, it was like 1.7, 1.6, 1.8 for a long time, from February 1st, 2023 until September. So 9 months, you were at these very elevated, put to call ratio levels, meaning there was just a lot of puts on the option chain relative to calls. You didn't see any of that, big upside volatility at all. Now, for whatever reason, we are getting some aggregated option flow data today. So far, it looks like about 2 orders totaling $92.69 thousand with a positive order value of 0% came through today. So it looks like 2 individual trades. On Friday, you had 22 orders totaling 1.64 million with a positive order value of 50%. And over the past week, you have seen 75 orders totaling 7.54 million. Oh my gosh, with a positive order value of 71%. So first time we're getting option activity here for quite a long time. Now, apparently, this article says AMC stock Taylor Swift sparks AMC hype with 95 million in ticket sales. I heard over 1 million or 100 million in ticket sales. So we'll see what the ultimate number is. But this does say bullish analysts had expected the movie to generate between 100 million and 140 million in its opening weekend. And instead, the number was between 95 million and 105 million. So maybe it was a little bit less than what some people were expecting. I thought this number was pretty dang good. Usually, this isn't like the biggest catalyst for AMC regardless. Any individual movie or film. You could say what is positive is the average ticket prices were about $20 a piece, almost $21 a piece. That includes, you know, presumably food and beverages being sold as well. That's about double the normal ticket price. So it wasn't exactly cheap to go see this film, and people definitely spent some money doing so. So that should be positive for AMC's fundamentals. Hopefully fill some of the gap here with movies. Obviously, actor and writer strikes have not exactly helped AMC's business. So I feel like this is good news. Maybe the markets are taking this as a little bit of bad news here today. Who knows? Now, as far as economic data, we didn't get anything here today that is really notable that, you know, is moving the markets at all. Monday, the calendar is really, really dry. That's today. And then tomorrow, we're going to have retail sales month over month. That is going to be a big one. Again, you're expecting 0.3%. Last month's reading was 0.6%. So any, you know, big up or down number here is definitely going to move the markets, guys. So that is pretty much going to do it for this video. Pretty stagnant day of trading so far for the NASDAQ, if I were to say so myself. You've kind of been sideways for a while now. It doesn't look like it's continuing higher. Doesn't really look like it is continuing lower as well. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day. Today, I'm sure AMC stock will look a lot different by the end of the day. Right now, AMC is recovering some of the loss that we had earlier in this video, now only down about 2.5% at $9.27 per share. As far, you know, above $9 per share as you can get, the better. You want to see AMC stock like $9.50, $9.40 by the end of the day. That would be really, really good news. And that would only be about a 2.5% rise from here. Basically, to go back green on the day would put AMC at about $9.50 per share, guys. So that is going to go ahead and do it for this video. We have a lot of information to cover in the next video, so make sure you guys are staying tuned to the channel for that one at 4 p.m. today. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.